behalf of the entire Halo team, it's my honor and privilege to announce that your Spartan journey begins today. Right now, you can download and start playing Season 1 of Halo Infinite's free-to-play multiplayer beta on Xbox One, Series S, X, and PC. This is the kickoff of our season, and you'll have access to all the maps, core modes, academy features, and the full battle pass to unlock. And your progression will carry over when we officially release the game on December 8th. This is an amazing moment for our team to get to celebrate this as we finally get to release the game and play with you all online. See you online, Spartans.
Oh, yes!
Okay, Halo Infinite is the best Halo game we have had since Halo 3 in my opinion. But the game is nowhere near perfect. In fact, I think it's way far off the mark in terms of content and how much is in the game. But when it comes down to gameplay, it hits just right. Now, this isn't going to be a really long, detailed review. It's going to be me saying what's good about the game, what I think needs to change, what I think needs to be added to make the game better. I'm going to save a detailed review for later on in the year when the game's got more stuff in it, more things to talk about, and more interesting additions. Right now, the game's a bit too bare bones to really judge how I'm going to feel about the game in a couple of months. I'm going to look at the four main categories that I think are the most important in a Halo multiplayer. So that's gameplay, weapon balance, maps and modes, and performance. And I'm going to start with what's easily the best thing about this game, and that's the gameplay. So, Halo Infinite's gameplay is the spiritual sequel to Halo 3. It feels similar, the way the gameplay flows reminds me of Halo 3, the way the movement is, it's like a modern version of what Halo 3 would be if it was released in 2021. So, compared to Halo 5, which is the last installment, which released in 2015 by the way, they have slowed down the gameplay massively to leave more room for real gunfights, proper aim, and actual interactions with other enemies. In Halo 5 there was a lot of thruster packs moving around ground pounds, and they had to compensate for that with really heavy bullet magnetism. But in this game they've moved away from that, so you can actually practice your aim, the kills feel satisfying, it's not like you're getting kills handed to you like it felt in Halo 5. In Halo 5, when I was playing, it felt like I was getting kills handed to me, like I wasn't earning the kills I was getting. In this game, Halo Infinite, every kill feels clean, I've earned it, it's satisfying, it's rewarding, and it's so much fun. In Halo 4 and 5, there was always times where you could get beaten by a bad player just because they got lucky with the bullet magnetism. But now, if I'm better than you, or if I come up against a player who has got more time played than me, better aim, and is just all round a more skilled player, they're gonna absolutely shit on me, and that's how it should be. I think it's fair to say that 343 has found that balance between the Bungie games and their own, and the result is a solid modern Halo game that both the Bungie and the 343 fans can enjoy and not fight over. I've always been a fan of both sides. I never thought 343 were shit or didn't care about Halo, and I think Halo Infinite proves that. The gameplay is so good in fact that it genuinely does not need a crutch like good progression. Everyone hates the progression in Halo Infinite, and I still think it needs to be changed. I still don't think it's good enough, but it's still got people coming back. People aren't playing the game for the progression. Like, a lot of people play Call of Duty for camo grinds or gun customization, things like that they have to grind for and get rewards to keep them stimulated. Halo Infinite's gameplay is enough to keep people coming back, which is very rare these days, especially with FPS games. So until my later review some point this year, if the game is either a lot better or a lot worse by that time, that's all I'm going to say on the gameplay. So yeah, it's just, so much fun. Okay, now we're going to get into weapon balance. Now this is where it gets a bit tricky. A lot of people have very different opinions when it comes to Halo Infinite's weapon balance. Halo Infinite has 22 weapons in the game right now, and I think most of them fit into their roles pretty well. I think they all have a place in the game. I don't think any of them are particularly hated, but I do think some of them do need buffed. A few are way too weak and just not viable in the multiplayer. I will come out and say it though, the Pulse Carbine and the Plasma Pistol are both fucking shite. They are absolutely terrible and they need to be buffed, because without the Plasma Pistol having the stun effect on vehicles and having good tracking, it's pretty much useless. It takes 25 shots to kill a Spartan, if I remember correctly, instead of the original just 12 shots. And the Pulse Carbine, all I can say is good. If you pick this fucking thing up, good luck. Good fucking luck, because it is so bad. Don't touch either of these guns until they're buffed. Don't even try. There's no point. But apart from that, most of the guns are pretty good. They all have different abilities, they're all good for different situations. One of the standouts is the Mangler. People really seem to like it, and I think it's because it's an improvement on the Mauler from Halo 3, which was a close range like shotgun pistol, but the Mangler is a much more longer range weapon, and if you can master that one-shot melee combo, every time you pick this thing up, you're going to be sorted. The Hydra's a bit of a weird one. I was not expecting to see the Hydra come from Halo 5 to Halo Infinite, and it's a bit different. There's two firing modes, one with tracking, one without, and I really don't know where it fits. It's like a weaker rocket launcher, obviously more rounds. I think it's supposed to be an anti-air vehicle weapon, but it's not really used like that. It doesn't feel consistent. It's a bit of a dodgy weapon to use. I can use it sometimes, get a couple of kills, but it's not something I like really seek out on the maps. But I mean, some people have fun with it. I just don't really know where it fits in. Another gun like this is the Commando. Again, I don't know where it fits. I'm not sure if I'm just shit with it. It's probably the case. I'm not very good with the Commando. But it feels like sometimes I can shred people with it, and other times I'll miss every shot and die. I'm not sure if that's me, but I've seen a lot of other people have issues with it. It feels like every other gun does its job better. Like, if you want a spray weapon, you'll use the assault rifle. If you want a precision weapon, use the battle rifle. So the Commando's a slower automatic weapon, supposed to be better at longer ranges than the assault rifle. But then you would just take a battle rifle. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one. It's pretty cool, I like the design, but it's not a top tier weapon. Now, definitely the most controversial weapon in Halo Infinite is the Bulldog, because the Bulldog has replaced the normal shotgun that we used to have. And the developers described it as a run and gun shotgun that's a lot easier to use. It's a lot more user friendly to people who aren't as good. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because the older shotgun had like a dance to it. You would wait for someone to come at you, or instead of rushing them, it was more of a defensive weapon. But now it's a run and gun, longer range weapon, and it's a bit weird because now we just don't have that role in the multiplayer anymore. We've not got that gun that you use on the defensive. You're backing up if someone's shooting you and you're taking health off them. You can sometimes get them for melee. That's not there anymore, and now we're just left with this weird drum mag pump shotgun that doesn't really act like a pump shotgun. That's more like an automatic. It's really odd. I mean, it's fun to use. I enjoy using it, but I kind of just miss the normal shotgun. But apart from that, the other new additions are great. All the shock weapons are really cool. I really like the Disruptor pistol. People sleep on that fucking thing. It can shred people if they're close together. The shock rifle's really fun to use. The Stalker, if you've got good aim, can be really fun. All these new guns are really well made and really well put together. The Heat Wave is a new favourite of mine. It's very cool. You can change the firing mode on it from vertical to horizontal, depending on what you're wanting to do with it. It's very, very fun to use, and I think it's designed really well. and it fits well in the game, so I'm not complaining about any of these additions. I think people forget that this game is live service now, which means they can add and remove weapons whenever they want. So people are upset like, oh, where's the fuel rod cannon, where's all these weapons we used to have, where's the plasma rifle, all these things. They'll come later. I have no doubts that the normal shotgun will return, and all these other weapons that we're missing, like the fuel rod cannon, the flamethrower if they're going to add it in. They can add these things in whenever they want, with a bunch of new weapons as well. I don't think we're just going to be getting older guns, I think we're going to be getting brand new weapons into the game in a couple of months, or depending on when they release Forge and shit, which is another argument. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more weapons and a lot more new additions that are going to be really fucking cool, hopefully, in the future. And if 343 do add these weapons in and they don't work, they can easily just remove them from the matchmaking, put them into Forge, put them into custom games so that people can still have them in their maps, in their custom game modes, so that people aren't crying when their favourite gun is removed, because they can still use them in the game. It's just not going to be in the main matchmaking, which I think is a viable solution to broken weapons. But on that note, that's pretty much all I have to say on the weapons. I think they're all designed really well, they all fit into the art style, all the returning weapons look great and feel amazing. All the new weapons I think are really cool and useful. I'm not picking up any guns and going, oh fuck, I hate this, apart from the two I've mentioned. But yeah, I think all the weapons seem great, they're fun to use, they all fit in, they've all got a role, they're all working great, none of them are too broken, and they're all just really fun to use. Just please buff the plasma pistol and the plasma carbine, just make them at least usable and not absolutely fucking dog shit. Okay, I think I've cried enough about plasma weapons. Next we've got the maps. So it's pretty obvious, especially in an arena shooter like Halo, maps can make or break the game, and in this game they fucking make it. They are so good, they're all enjoyable, I've had fun on all of them, I think they all look amazing, they're all designed really well, they all flow great. But there's not that many maps, which is kind of the issue here. There's not a lot of maps. The ones that we have are great, and personally I'd much rather have quality over quantity, but we're missing a few things. A few things need to be added to make the map selection just that wee bit better. At this moment in time there's only 10 multiplayer maps, and that includes Big Team Battle, so there's 6 arena maps and 4 for Big Team Battle. That's quite limited. All the maps are great, I think all those 10 are really good. But I don't think it would hurt to add some of the older maps back, add some fan favourites, Guardian I was thinking, maybe some Blood Gulch, Valhalla, stuff like that. Bring that into the game, flesh out the map variety, and it'll be much better. And obviously add some new ones. And we do need a snow map. There's no snow maps in Halo Infinite, and some of my favourite maps from the older Halo games are in the snow. And I'm missing them a lot. If I was to ask one thing of 343 is to please add things into these maps that make me remember them. There's not really that thing in the map that makes me think, oh, I'm thinking of this map because you mentioned that thing. Like the turbine on Zanzibar. If you mention the turbine, I'll think, okay, Zanzibar. If you mention the big spire in the middle of that one map, I'll think of Spire. All these different maps that have really cool things on them that make you remember them. Apart from Deadlock, the Big Team Battle map, that shit has a massive anti-aircraft gun in the middle of the map, and if you capture a flag or control a point, the fucker fires. It will shoot at a big ship in the sky, and that shit's fucking amazing, and they need to have that on more maps. You could be one flag down, if you capture this flag, it goes into overtime and you can win the game, and you capture that flag at the last second and you win the game and the fucking aircraft gun fires. It's so cool, and they need to do more to get things like that into these maps, because it makes them way more interesting and people are way more likely to remember their names and remember the good moments they have on these maps. Okay, now, game modes. Game modes. What the fuck happened here? Because I'm not seeing very many fucking game modes.
What the fuck? What the fuck was that?
I'm pretty baffled with this whole situation, considering how good the matchmaking is in the Master Chief Collection. You can completely customize what game modes you want to play on what Halo, with what player count, and it's great. But in Halo Infinite, at launch, I know it was a bit of a rush development, and they were kind of forced to put the game out, but 4 game modes, 4 quick play Slayer, ranked, and big team battle? Sorry, what? I think that really does just show how good Halo is from a gameplay standpoint, because if COD had launched with 4 game modes, or Battlefield had launched with only 4 game modes, there would be riots in the streets. It took 343 an entire month to add new modes into Halo Infinite. Like, fair enough, they took a break for Thanksgiving, that's fine. I'm sure, I don't know what goes into game development, I'm sure it's strenuous as fuck, I'm sure the hours must be terrible for these developers. But a month, a full month, just to make Team Slayer available not just in quick play, or to add things like Fiesta and SWAT. Just to play Team Slayer, you had to play quick play, which meant you had to play through modes you didn't want to play. Like, if you didn't want to play Oddball, you might be forced to play it just because you want to have one game of Slayer. That's so unbelievably stupid. Why? And SWAT and Fiesta? A month? Like, I can make SWAT and Fiesta in custom games. You could go into custom games before they added those modes and make them. So why was it not just in the matchmaking at launch? It was clearly available. You had the resources. All you had to do was set up matchmaking for it. That's not difficult. That's so simple. So a game developer could have done that at home while watching porn, but yet it still wasn't in the game. It's just, it baffles me that you go from the Master Chief Collection that has this incredible matchmaking system where you can completely customize your experience to any length you want. You could play one mode on one game with a certain amount. You could play Halo 4 Action Sack with only 2 people all the time. You would never have to change modes. If that's what you enjoy playing, that's all you had to do. But in Halo Infinite, they were forcing us to play things we might not want to play, and I don't understand why. I really don't get it, and I still don't get it, and I still... Where's Infection? There's no Infection, there's still no Action Sack, there's no fucking... You still have to play Oddball and Quick Play. All these modes aren't separate. Capture the Flag doesn't have his own mode. I don't understand why these modes are like this, because it's such a simple fix. It's not like I'm asking for a lot, or I'm asking like a big change in the game. Just change how matchmaking works and how I can play modes. Let me select. Even COD can let you choose what pacing and what game modes you want to play. If COD is doing something better than you in terms of user experience, there is a big fucking problem. Now again, I do have sympathy for these developers. I think the way they were told to make this game must have been a hellish fucking development cycle. But that's such a minimum requirement to have enough game modes to keep people playing. I was really, the last week of that month, I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy when I heard the announcement that they were adding things like Fiesta and stuff like that into the game just to play. Because fuck me, I was bored. I was really getting bored of having to play quick play all the time, or jump into ranked or fucking big team battle. I was really getting bored. But it's getting better. They're going in the right direction. They're adding modes. There should just be more. I don't know why it's so slow right now. There should be way more modes. There should have been adding modes on Christmas Day to get people to play on Christmas. I don't see why that would have been a big ask, or why that's a big problem. They need to get out faster. People are going to get bored of Fiesta. They're going to get bored of SWAT. They need to do more in terms of how they're getting these modes into the game. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to say on the game modes. I just think there needs to be more of them. The ones we have are fun, but people are going to get bored eventually. So yeah, now we can move on to, thankfully, a happier note, the performance. So far in my experience, Halo Infinite's performance is really, really, really fucking good. It runs perfectly for me. I've had experience with both generations of console. Before Christmas I had an Xbox One X. I did have to run the game in performance mode to keep a steady frame rate. When you put it in quality it was a bit dodgy, but when you put it in that performance mode it runs so smoothly. Frame rate's consistent and you can play fine. After Christmas I upgraded to a Series X. It's even better. I can run the game on quality graphics, it's got a consistent frame rate, runs smoothly, feels smooth, and it's just really fucking good. I've not tried it on PC yet because my PC's aging a bit. I'm looking to upgrade that as well. But so far from what I can tell, it runs really, really smoothly and really nice. It just feels great to play. I've not really had any graphical bugs or glitches. Everything seems to stay perfect. There's not been too many issues with anything like that. I've not been seeing deleted textures or falling through maps or anything like that. It's all been fine. So from what I can tell, the performance for Halo Infinite is really, really fucking good, and I don't see any issues with it. So yeah, that's pretty much all the thoughts I have on Halo Infinite. I think the game is great right now. I think if they just add the things I've mentioned and change a couple things with the weapons, add some more maps, get some more game modes in there, the game could be fucking phenomenal. And if you haven't played Halo Infinite, I severely recommend you do. If you've never played Halo before, this is definitely the game to try out to get a feel for the franchise. And if you enjoy Halo before, this is definitely a return to form. If you like the older games, you'll love Halo Infinite. So thanks a lot for watching this rant, cry, shout, complain, / criticize / compliment a game for 20 minutes. I've never really done a big video project like this before, and it was actually a lot of fun to do. So if you could leave a like and subscribe, that'd be great. I've got more stuff coming. I'm planning on doing something for Call of Duty as well, because I've been playing through Vanguard, playing through the campaign, playing a bit of the multiplayer. I want to talk about that, because I've got some fairly controversial thoughts on that. So yeah, see you next time I decide to complain about a game or praise it to all hell, because Halo Infinite's pretty good. So yeah, well done 343.